What's going on, party people? Back with some more Little Cup World Cup action. This is McFlurry. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, I cover different Little Cup tours, and I've only been doing that since September here, but I've been really enjoying this Little Cup action, and I'm going to be commentating this semi-final match from the Smogon Little Cup World Cup. This is between US West and US Midwest, and the UK. US West, Midwest being on our perspective, and then the United Kingdom being on the opposing perspective. If you missed Brazil versus Canada, that's already on the YouTube channel. That is the other semifinals match. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already. It's a bit of a long video, but really, really good stuff. Really exciting match, I thought. It really went down to the wire. And yeah, I'm planning on covering the finals next week as well, so be sure to like, subscribe, and all that, and I can continue to justify this hobby to my significant other and maybe make some money off YouTube someday. Ha ha ha. Anyways, let's get into it here. So I'm just gonna say US West going forward, just don't have to say US Midwest all the time, but I want you to know I am including the Midwest in this here. First one we got here is Baby Boy Blues versus Waldorf. Shoutouts to Get Gossip Girl, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And this is a Gen 9 Little Cup match, just to start things off. I'm going to be covering this in order of when they were posted onto Smogon. So this is the first one that was posted to Smogon, so I'm going to cover it first. And this Little Cup World Cup is going to be featuring generations 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 Little Cup tiers. Oh, and 4. How could I forget DPP? And there will be 3 Gen 9 Little Cup matches that happen if all of the games do get played, because if a team is able to get to 5 wins, then there's no point of playing the last few games, which makes sense. This is best of 8, so the first team to get to 5 wins wins this round. And there you have it. If it is tied 4-4 after those 8 rounds, there will be a tiebreaker game. So anyways, Baby Boy Blues versus Waldorf first. So Baby Boy Blues bringing a pretty balanced team. We've seen a lot of balance, at least in that first semi-final match that I saw here. But you do have an Elekid, very popular Pokemon in Generation 9 Little Cup. We've seen Elekid on both sides, in fact. Likewise with the Mindfu and the Mudbray and the Volibee. So honestly, really similar Pokemon on both sides of the field here. You also got a Coughing for Baby Boy Blues, which is really cool. That Pokemon gets access to Will-O-Wisp, and Pain Split can definitely be a useful Pokemon here in Little Cup. And then a Shelder, which is a huge threat, as it's a Shell Smash Sweeper. Say that 5 times fast. And you also get Ice Shard with this thing too. So if you're looking to get past the Shell Smash with some priority, this Shelder can sometimes out-prioritize you in certain situations here. Looking at Waldorf's side of the field there, of course all the UK players will be on the opposing side here for this. You also got a Fungus and then a Glimmet. I love this Pokemon. Glimmet is a very useful Pokemon. It hits pretty hard, sets up all of the hazards, and if you're looking at Baby Boy Blues team, your only real hazard removal Pokemon there is looking like the Volibee if it has Defog. I think Shelder gets Rapid Spin, but doesn't run it too often, though I guess it is a viable option, but usually this thing is Shell Smashing. Yeah, let's get into it here. I'm on slow mode. It actually feels like slow mode this time. Okay, we got Mudbray lead from Waldorf and a Mudbray lead from Baby Boy Blues. So there you go. Earthquake winning a potential speed tie here for Baby Boy Blues. And then Stealth Rocks for Waldorf here on turn 1. Baby Boy Blues just getting up their own rocks. Waldorf gets an Earthquake of their own. Okay, doing similar damage too. Both Pokemon have a stamina boost at this point as well. And Baby Boy Blues just continuing to go for Earthquakes here. Both players actually just getting the Mudbray low here. Maybe we'll see rest from one of them, maybe not. Both of them look like they can take one more Earthquake. They're just... Oh, there's the crit. Okay. Kind of waiting for that. So, Baby Boy Blues loses their Mudbray here to a crit. In comes the Elekid, which is able to revenge kill with really anything that isn't an Electric-type move. Just goes for the Psychic here, which is fair. And we see Imposing Elekid coming out for Waldorf. And loses its Violate from a knockoff on another potential speed tie. And also firing off knockoff their own on Baby Boy Blues Elekid. Then loses a speed tie here, takes a Psychic, and yeah, both players clicking Psychic here, so really similar start on both sides here, I guess. Both players kind of doing the same thing here. In comes the Mindfu for Baby Boy Blues. They're losing their Elekid. In comes the Glimmet for Waldorf. Finally seeing some different Pokemon on the field here. Clicks U-turn. It's going to get Toxic Debris off here and get a Toxic Spike up. In comes the Coffee. Now, it's neutralizing gas rather than Levitate, so it can actually remove that Toxic Spike. And then it's going to switch right back out into Mindfu here. Maybe predicting a switch. Nope. Glimmet goes for the Power Gem here, actually. And then Terra Ghosts on the high jump kick. Wow, excellent use of Terra there early in this match. Getting all that recoil damage and able to follow up with the Sludge Bomb. Awesome. Really good stuff here with the early game Terra. In comes a Shellder. This thing's threatening a Shell Smash here. Nope. Waldorf's clicking Sludge Bomb. No poison. There's the Shell Smash. Okay. Let's see how this goes down here. Just gonna sack the Elekid there. As Baby Boy Blues clicks the Icicle Spear on that turn. Volby coming out here for Waldorf. Clicks Endure. Okay. That's new. At least new for me. But this thing has Icicle Spear, so it's going to be able to bypass the Endure, I think. That should be how this move works. The multi-hit move. Oh, I guess not. No, it just stays stuck at 1 HP. Okay. Interesting, and it racks up all those speed boosts too. So Baby Boy Blues better have the Ice Shard here, which it appears that they don't. And then Volby able to knock that thing out with a Terra Blast. And it's at +6 speed. Or is it +5? +6? I don't know. I think it's +6, yeah. Oh yeah, right, because in this gen, Weak Armor's +2, that's right. So Baby Boy Blues bringing in their own Volby here, which is going to be slower. Able to get off a Roost here after taking an Air Slash. I think they flinched on the first one there too. And able to Revenge Kill this thing with a knockoff eventually. And both players, no, actually Baby Boy Blues has 2 Pokemon. Waldorf has 3. In comes the Fungus, threatening a Spore. In comes the Coughing. Yeah, takes the Spore. Okay. Baby Boy Blues rather have the Volby not sleep there. It's coming right back out here. Probably looking to Roost this next turn. The Mindfu comes out. Okay, I think this should be able to take a hit. Misses the high jump kick. Okay, very fortunate for Baby Boy Blues there. And then knocks it out with a Brave Bird rather than roosting here. So it's going to take a bit of recoil damage. In comes the Fungus. Now this thing doesn't want to take a Brave Bird either. I think it will live one. Terra Ghost from the Volby. There's the Roost. Waldorf clicking Sludge Bomb here. So yeah, it's going to resist the Sludge Bomb. No poison. There's the knockoff. Get rid of that thing's Violet. Should be in range of Brave Bird now. It's not resisting these Giga Drains anymore though. We'll have to see here. No, opts to Roost instead. So it's going to get a bit more HP back with the Giga Drain, the Fungus that is. There's the Brave Bird. Yep, does get the kill. Okay. And that just leaves Glimmet here. Which, is this Pokemon faster? No, this could be a speed tie. Oh, Glimmet just drops to a knockoff. Okay, so there you go. I don't know if that was a speed tie or not. But either way, Baby Boy Blues getting the win for the US here. And the US is up 1-0. There you go, in this exciting Generation 9 Little Cup match. Let's get into Game 2. Alright, next up we have Luthier from the US against Incognition from the UK here. Big shout out to Incognition. They were definitely the one advocating for me to cover the semis and the finals of this tour. And I'm a big fan of their play throughout all the empty tournaments I've covered here. They're doing very well in Baby Monochrome here. So yeah, big fan of Incognition. Really appreciate their support of the channel, of course. And Luthier for the US here. US up 1-0. We have a Gen 5 Little Cup match here. I absolutely love this tier. I have tons of coverage of this tier on my YouTube page if you want to go check that out. And Luthier bringing the Larvesta. Yeah, my favorite Little Cup Pokemon. It's not even close. This thing is great with access to the Flame Body ability. Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun, U-Turn. It's just an overall great Pokemon, especially if you can keep rocks off the field. And Luthier bringing a Drillbur to help support that, and a Natu to also help support that too. However, it doesn't look like Incognition even... Oh, I guess Drillbur can get rocks, yeah, so that's likely the Stealth Rocker if there is one. But Luthier has definitely some options to keep Stealth Rocks off the field there. Also bringing a Frillish, a very, I think, underrated Pokemon in my opinion. Pretty bulky. Can also get Will-O-Wisp off as well. as I mentioned already, a Natu, an Omnimite, which could be a sweeping one here. We'll have to wait and see. Omnimite also gets access to all the entry hazards. And we also see sometimes Omnimite running a bit of both, right? Running Shell Smash and maybe something like Toxic Spikes. So, yeah, we'll have to see what kind of Omnimite we're dealing with here. And a Mindfu, which you know what Mindfu does. It's arguably the most popular Pokemon across all generations of World Cup, barring DPP, of course, as it doesn't exist yet in that. But Mindfu just a really good Pokemon, especially in early games as leads and just knocking things off and getting off big high jump kicks here. So Incognition bringing a Timber, which is kind of the alternate universe Mindfu, I would say, but it gets access to Mach Punch. That really what makes this thing stand out. But yeah, Luthier's team doesn't look too threatened by that thing because you do have lots of options to deal with the Timber. Especially that Natu, right? If it's packing the Psychic. You have a Ghastly, a bit more of an offensive-looking Pokemon, a bit more of an offensive-looking team from Incognition overall. A Volibee, I'm thinking that thing's probably support with Knockoff, but we'll have to wait and see. Could be Nasty Plot. A Porygon, Timber, and a Staryu. So definitely one of those two Pokemon at the end there running Rapid Spin to keep hazards away from Incognition's side of the field, which if that Omnimite is packing hazards, then definitely want to make use of that and give some longevity to some Pokemon like Volibee and Porygon. Let's get into it here. Alright, here we go. Staryu lead from Incognition and a Mindfu lead from Luthier, which you probably could have expected there. In comes the Ghastly, and Luthier making the safe play, just clicking U-turn here rather than going for like high jump kick or fake out or something like that. In comes the Drillbur for Luthier. Porygon switching in here. And that's a Mold Breaker Dribbler as well, so it's threatening an Earthquake here, which is exactly what they click on the Porygon coming in. That does a lot of damage. And then sets up Stealth Rocks, yeah. So that is likely a straight-up Shell Smash Omnimite in the back there. Porygon just recovering off that damage. In comes the Mindfu. To take a Psychic. Okay, maybe that was a bit of a prediction from Incognition here. That's a 2-hit KO, so Luthier going to get out of there just with the U-turn. Knowing high jump kick's not going to be able to get the kill there. In comes the Frillish on the T-Bolt. Another prediction there from Incognition. That's going to do a little bit more damage to the Frillish than Psychic would. In comes the Staryu. Recover turn. Now, it can't Rapid Spin this turn, but is threatening T-Bolts of its own and gets the Para. Nice. Frillish gets the Will-O-Wisp off on this thing. Now, if it has Natural Cure, which it likely does, it's going to be able to just switch out and get rid of that burn later on. We're going to keep spamming T-Bolts here. And gets the Curse Body on the T-Bolt, so it can't be spamming that anymore. Frillish just recovers off that damage. Another Psychic here. That's Staryu's only option here. Gets a nice drop. And a full Para. Okay, very fortunate turn there for Incognition. As it's taking burn damage, probably looking to recover soon here, as it does on this turn. And the Frillish does the same. Takes some burn damage there. Fires off another Psychic. Don't see another drop. Ooh, and this Frillish revealing the Hex as well. That's doing a little bit more damage here. Disable ends, so we can go for the T-Bolts now, which with that drop might get the KO. So Luthier switching to Larvesta on this turn. Could this be a confirmed choice Scarf Larvesta? Yes, it is. Okay, so U-turns out of there for big damage on the Staryu. In comes the Mindfu. Ooh, to take the Hydro Pump, but it misses. So a bit of luck going Luthier's way now. Staryu has to recover here to stay alive as Mindfu just clicks U-turn rather than risking a high jump kick with the Ghastly potentially switching in. In comes Larvesta again. That thing's in U-turn range, and it is Choice Scarf, so Incognition might switch out here. Which is exactly what they do. In comes a Volibee. Going to be able to take the U-turn quite well and get a weak armor boost. But Luthier has the benefit of switching into something for free. The Omnimite is the choice. Takes an Air Slash. No flinch, and doesn't go for the Shell Smash, actually just Hydro Pumps here. Might be a little early for the Shell Smash anyways. Here's the Ghastly from Incognition. Mindfu coming in, maybe threatening a T-Bolt. No, Giga Drain, right, I forgot. I knew this thing got some kind of grass coverage, but I knew it was an Energy Ball. Will-O-Wisp on the Mindfu, that's pretty clutch. And then U-turns out of there, so Mindfu doing a lot less damage now that it's burned. Here's the Drillbur. Again, Drillbur is Mold Breaker, so it's able to hit that Ghastly with Earthquakes. Misses the Will-O-Wisp. And knocks that thing out. Doubt the crit mattered. Drillbur is a strong Pokemon. Ghastly is a frail Pokemon. Here's the Timber for Incognition here. Down 4 Pokemon to 6. Oh, that's a big crit. The Earthquake there. It's going to Drain Punch, get some of that HP back, but it's still in range of another Earthquake. So just going to get a Mach Punch off just as a parting gift. That drops to an Earthquake from Luthier's Drillbur. Luthier looking really good here with Stealth Rocks up too. Here's the Staryu. We know this isn't a Scarf Drillbur because it revealed switching moves earlier on. Ooh, wow, but Earthquake's doing more than Staryu can recover, so it might just attack here. Yep, just knocks that thing out with a Psychic. But it's low now. Here's the Larvesta. It's going to be able to speed anything here. U-turns out of there. Incognition in a pretty deep hole here. Frillish switching in for Luthier. Porygon for Incognition. Now, it traces the Curse Body here. Mindfu switching in for Luthier. Probably just looking to knock that thing off eventually. Takes a T-Bolt. Yeah, probably looking to click knockoff here. Oh, clicks Taunt, actually. So this thing can't get off recovers. And it's going to outspeed, so it can always Taunt. Keep in mind, this Mindfu is taking burn damage, of course. Big high jump kick for 48%. Don't think this thing's packing the... Might not have the knockoff, actually. This drops to a Psychic. In comes a Larvesta, which is going to be able to knock out really anything here. That Stab U-turn is just so strong from Larvesta. I just love this Pokemon, man. In comes the Frillish. All that's left here is Drillbur for Incognition. Gonna need some luck or something here. Maybe some flinches from Rock Slide, perhaps. Gets a crit. That's nice. Flinch. Para gets the flinch. Okay. So that's really what Incognition is going to need. But can this thing even take a hit from that Larvesta at this range? I guess we'll find out here. Flare Blitz might just kill. Oh, U-turns first. Knowing Drillbur doesn't have any kind of recovery. And even if Natu drops to Rock Slide or gets flinched, Larvesta is going to be able to finish this off. Goes in an Omnimite here. The next Rock Slide gets a weak armor boost. Okay, that's another way you can end it here. Gets rid of that thing's a Violite. I guess just guaranteeing that Larvesta can get this done. So Luthier playing it just extra safe here. Here's the Larvesta. Flare Blitz. No, U-turn. And there you have it. Luthier playing that very safe at the end. Very smart. And gets the win for... the US here. So there you go. US up 2-0. Let's get into game 3. Alright, third game here. We have TKO from the US. Also, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but they're from our perspective. Up against Cow from the UK. This is a Gen 8 Little Cup match. So, Generation 8, a tier I really don't have too much experience with, so I'm just going to go with the flow here. Let's start with Cow's team here. So, bringing some really cool Pokemon, especially the Baby Monkey, Grookey. Love this thing. I think this thing gets... Yes, it does get Grassy Surge. Okay, so this thing's threatening some Grassy Glides. I think it gets it in Generation 8. I know it doesn't in Gen 9. But really, really cool Pokemon. Honestly, I think from the newer gens, Grookey, definitely one of my favorite Pokemon here in Little Cup here. A Ponyta, which does a similar thing to Larvesta, except it's faster, hitting a 19 speed, as Larvesta can only hit, I think, 15. So, maybe it's 14. I think it's 15. But yeah, Ponyta, really good Fire-type Pokemon here, though it does appear that TKO does have ways to deal with this. A Volibee, Mindfu, very standard stuff. I could see this being a support Volibee, just helping with that Dwebble. Might be looking to sweep. This Dwebble could be looking just as haphazard, so if we see this thing come out as the lead, then that kind of confirms it there. And then Abra, which is a very, very strong Pokemon. Very fast Pokemon. Doesn't like priority, but usually runs Focus Sash so that it can live a hit. It might also run Life Orb so that it doesn't take any recoil damage from Life Orb and get just harder hitting moves off, because it has the Magic Guard ability, right? So it's not going to be taking any Life Orb hits. TKO for the US, bringing a Porygon. Always cool seeing Porygon in these newer generations where it doesn't get quite as much love as it does in something like Gen 5. A Mindfu, a Marini, very good fat Pokemon with the Regenerator ability as well. Because so many Pokemon in Little Cup don't run leftovers, abilities like Regenerator are very, very valuable, which both Mindfu and Marini get. So that's really cool. A Volibee, which gets access to Roost, also helping with that lack of leftovers that you see in Little Cup. And this one, I could see this one being Nasty Plot, considering there's a Ponyard to help knock off items, as well as the Mindfu, of course. Trapinch, very hard-hitting Pokemon in Little Cup. It's also a very slow Pokemon, so you don't want to have it in against the wrong thing. It also has the Arena Trap ability, too, so it can trap things. It's kind of a slow trapper here. And then, of course, a Ponyard, which could be a number of things. It could also be the Stealth Rocker on this team. We'll have to wait and see. Let's get into it. So Dwebble lead from Cow, which pretty much confirms hazards here, and a Mindful lead from TKO. Probably looking just to knock off. No, I meant to say fake out actually, but gets a taunt off instead. So this thing can't get up hazards. Just stays in, takes a knock off. What's this Dwebble going to do after getting a weak armor boost? Clicks knock off on their own. Okay, cool. So Mindful is going to be a little bit easier to deal with later on. Maybe you don't have to lean on the Abra too much here. In comes the Volibee. Can take a high jump kick quite well and then get the weak armor boost, so it's threatening a flying type move. This one actually has Berry Juice, so gets right back up to full HP. There is the Nasty Plot, and then U-turns out of there. Okay, so we have a very strong, very fast Volibee in the face of TKO here. Trapinch coming out. Pretty confident that thing could live a hint. No, just has first impression. I totally forgot about this move. Wow. And that just straight up gets the kill with all those defense drops. And no Violet because it was Berry Juice. In comes the Dwebble, just getting up the rocks for Cow. It's going to live an Earthquake. Get its weak armor boost, of course. Though it's going to outspeed the Trapinch anyways. In comes the Ponyard. Maybe on Spikes? No, on a knockoff. Thing loses its own Violet. It's going to be able to revenge kill here. Oh no, just kidding. It's slower because of weak armor, of course. Gets up Spikes, and then, yeah, TKO just getting up their own rocks as this Dwebble's just stacking hazards here. It's going to drop to a knockoff, but I think that Dwebble did its job. Here's a Mindfu from Cow. Volibee switching in. Be able to take anything from this thing. Clicks high jump kick. Gets the weak armor boost, but Volibee is quite low here and can't really afford to roost on this turn. This is a special Volibee. Goes for the air slash, doesn't get the flinch, and then drops to a U-turn. So Cow finally getting a kill here on TKO's team. In comes the Grookey. Setting up the grassy terrain here. Trapinch for TKO. It's the switch in of choice. Gets that first impression off and just straight up knocks that thing out. Wow. Wonder what item this Trapinch is running to. I mean, it's likely a Violet, but that thing's just hitting so hard. In comes the Abra. Ponyard gonna switch in here. What's Cow gonna click? Psychic? Okay, I was thinking maybe a prediction there, but no, just plays it safe. I think just because Cow's a little bit behind here, they're probably gonna want to make some predictions here. Mindfu switching in on the knockoff just as a sack. Cow's only got 2 Pokemon left here. And that Marini is gonna be a big problem for that Ponyta too. So, yeah, Ponyta's gonna come in here. Gotta make some kind of prediction here. Clicks high horsepower. Okay, that would have hit anything, so including the Marini. So pretty good play by Cow. Pretty good neutral ground there. Here's that Marini from TKO. What's Ponyta going to do here? Misses a high horsepower. That's unfortunate. And then lives a Scald. It's not going to get burned because it's a fire type, of course. Lands the next one. Yeah, 2 would have gotten the Marini knocked out there. So, yeah, and is there enough run rate for this Abra? I mean, it's not going to live a first impression, so it better be Focus Sash. Gets the kill on the Marini. Do we see the first impression here? Most likely. See what item this Abra is. Oh, it has Protect. Nice. So it doesn't really matter. That's a great tech by Cow. Is he able to get the kill on the... Oh, this Trapinch has Fiend, actually. So there you go. Or Feint, I should say. Goes for another one. No crit or anything like that. Okay. How are we able to get this done? Has Porygon even come in yet? No, it looks like this is the first time. It's going to take hazards. I think you need a crit or something. Click Psychic. I don't think a crit would have gotten there either. And it drops to a Tri-Attack. Okay, so it was actually in range there. Wasn't sure if Porygon was going to be able to do enough there. But yeah, US West getting the 3rd win here. And it's 3-0 at this point here. So US West won every single match so far. Let's get into the 4th game here. All right, here we go. Game 4, we've got Taz versus TTK from the UK. and Taz from US West / Midwest. And this is an ORS Little Cup match. So let's get into it. This is a tier I'm not too experienced with, but I did enjoy that game that I covered in the other semifinals match. So let's start with Taz's team here. Bringing a little bit of bird span here with the Arkin and the Fletchling, right? Fletchling, there's an L in there, yeah. And Fletchling gets access to the Gale Wings ability, which isn't quite nerfed yet in Generation 6, so it's going to be able to get off priority roosts and priority maybe acrobatics or brave bird or flying stab of choice. And also important to note, no hazard removal on Taz's side of the field here. Not that I can think of. Arkin might get defog. I'm not sure about that. Actually, it might not. I don't know, but that's important to note. Considering they've got 2 flying type Pokemon. You also have a Magnemite, which can trap the opposing Magnemite, but that's really all it's going to be able to do in terms of trapping things, but can hit decently hard. You have a Mindfu, an all-around very good utility Pokemon, a Diglett, which can trap things, and a Fungus. TTK bringing a similar team as well, which the Fletchling, the Mindfu, and the Diglett, and a Magnemite of their own too. We've already seen how much power Abra has in that last game. And a Volibee, I'm thinking this is probably going to be like a knockoff support one to help enable some of the other offensive Pokemon on TTK's side of the field there. I'm expecting a pretty fast game here, though, because both teams looking quite offensive. Let's get into it. Watch me get proven wrong by that, and we have a long game somehow. In comes Mindfu from TTK as a lead, Mindfu from Taz as well. Taz getting the Fake Out first here on a potential speed tie. TTK getting flinch there, and and gets the knockoff too. Maybe we're dealing with a slow Fu here, actually. Loses the Violet, and then, yeah, we got another knockoff from TTK's Mindfu here. Gets out of there. In comes the Volibee to take the U-turn, gets a weak armor boost here. It's going to be outspeeding anything. Just +1 in Generation 6 here. Here's the Fletchling. Can get priority as well with the Gale Wings ability. Mindfu's a switch in for TTK. Can take the acrobatics quite well. And that was threatening maybe a Volt Switch or something like that. Fungus coming in for Taz. Goes for the Flash Cannon, not risking the Diglett coming in here. And that thing actually has a eject button, so it's able just to get out and trap it with the Diglett. Nice. Now this appears to be a choice Scarf Magnemite, because it's going to outspeed and click Flash Cannon before dropping to an Earthquake from the Diglett. TTK bringing their own Diglett, which is on a balloon. Wins a potential speed tie, knocks the thing out with an Earthquake. Fletchling coming out for Taz. Actually, TTK just going for the Sucker Punch here. Knowing Diglett's not going to be able to take an Acrobatics anyways. Not too much you could switch into that thing either. Abra coming out here. The Fungus switching in. Okay, maybe it's a Sack. It's going to drop to a Psychic. Especially since that thing didn't even have a Violet anyways. It had an eject button, as we saw earlier. Magnemite coming out for Taz here. Click and Protect, just in case this thing is choice. I'll have to go for the Volt Switch, but man, nothing really wants to take a Volt Switch other than maybe Mindfu, which is exactly what TTK goes into here. Thinking this Mindfu is choice. This could be Specs. That did a lot. Or maybe Mindfu is running... oh no, this thing lost its item earlier, didn't it? Yeah, okay, there you go. Arkin coming out to take the Fake Out. Threatens to outspeed, I believe. Oh, it could be a speed type. I think that was a slow Fu from earlier. Clicking Acrobatics here onto the Volibee coming out. That thing is Berry Juice. Back to full HP. Then goes for the knockoff. Now the Defeatist ability has been activated, so this Head Smash is actually still going to get the KO, though. Because it is a very hard-hitting move, and that Arkin's just going to drop the Recoil. 3-3 from both players here. Mindfu for Taz. And Mindfu from TTK, just how this game started here. Mindfu getting the Fake Out there. Okay, maybe this was a speed tie the whole time. Unless Taz didn't click. Oh yeah, no, that confirms. Okay, this was not. This was a speed tie after all. Fletchling coming out for Taz. Threatening, man, it's gonna get a big hit off on anything. TTK going to their own Fletchling here. Going for the speed tie, loses. Drops to another Acrobatics. Both players have 2 Pokemon left. This one's coming right down to the wire. Abra for TTK here. Magnemite. This thing, I think, is... I mean, it's either on a Focus Sash or it's bluffing it really well. This Magnemite was actually Bear Juice the whole time. Lives on Sturdy and gets right back up to full HP. Volt Switch is out of there on the Mindfu. Doing so much without a Violate. Fletchling gonna have to take a fake out. It's gonna get a big hit off on something here. Acrobatics on the Mindfu. Man, this Abra, I don't know. I mean, that Magnemite's at full HP and has Sturdy. It is sashed after all. Gonna get the kill on the Fletchling here, but a little too late. Magnemite's gonna be able to win here with the Sturdy ability, unless I'm missing something crazy here, but yeah, doesn't even get that thing down to its Sturdy. Able to win with the Flash Cannons. This one came down to the wire, but I think Taz knew they were pretty safe there in that end game. And getting the 4th win for the US. So US up 4-0 at this point here with this ORAS victory by Taz. Let's get into game 5. All right, here we go. Game 5. We got Vooper versus HSOWA. I'm going to say SOA going forward here because that's a lot of letters. Vooper for the US and SOA for the UK here. And this is a Gen 7 Little Cup match here with the creepy giant Pharaoh Seed that doesn't move. It bothered me in the last semifinals match. It's bothering me in this one too. That thing just looking into its dead eyes there. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Gen 7 Pharaoh Seed. A very good Pokemon, but I'm not a fan of that sprite. Let's get into it here. So both players bringing fairly balanced teams, I would say here. We'll start with Vooper's team here. So Vooper bringing Mindfu, Volibee, and a Diglett. You also got a Ponyard, which I'm thinking is the Stealth Rocker of choice on this team, but we'll have to wait and see. Also bring some hazard removal in the Staryu, and then Fungus, which is just an all-around good bulky Pokemon. So a pretty fat team here from Vooper with multiple options for HP recovery too, with Synthesis on the Fungus, Recover on the Staryu, Regen with the Mindfu, and Roost with the Volibee. So yeah, Vooper looking for maybe a longer game here. Not really, I mean, kind of similar. I mean, just a little bit more offensive, I think. Probably looking just to hazard stack there with the Pharaoh Seed and then make way for maybe the Ponyta, the Diglett, and the Abra later on just to punch some holes. Leaning towards that being a support Volibee for SOA, just because, you know, make things easier for those offensive Pokemon. And then a Spritzee, am I saying that right? Yes, I am. We saw this thing last game. I kind of forgot what it did already, but it's a fairy type Pokemon. Really don't see too many of them in Little Cup, I don't think. Though there are multiple, at least in Generation 9, there's like multiple poison types flying around here. So that Ponyard, if it's packing Iron Head, or that Fungus, if that's packing the Sludge Bomb, should be able to deal with the Spritzee quite well. Let's just get into it here. Let's get into it. All right, so Volibee lead from SOA. Mindfu lead from Vooper. Clicks Protect, okay. On the fake out. All right, that works. And then just knocks that thing off, loses its look, it's a weak arm boost, loses Berry Juice, okay. And then gets a knockoff of its own off as Mindfu loses its Violate. In comes Volibee for Vooper to take the next knockoff, okay. So it's clicking that again, maybe expecting to switch. Gets a weak armor boost, loses its Berry Juice. Got potential speed tie here. So why not playing with that? Just goes right into Spritzee here to take the Brave Bird quite well. I'm thinking that is a Violate Spritzee as well, as it's going to take U-turn. If we're going into Ponyard here on a Wish, so threatening an Iron Head here, goes into Ponyta. Does he get Flame Body? We might find out here. Clicks Knockoff, predicting a potential switch there, which is what they get. Now, did that Ponyta not have an item? That Ponyta didn't have an item. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Staryu switching in here for Vooper. Let's take the Flare Blitz. Alright. Did I miss something here? Ponyta doesn't have an item. Okay, and then still gets the kill with the follow-up Wild Charge. Okay. Has the Flame Body, but maybe that's the point, is just no items, so Knockoff's not going to do as much. It's going to drop to an Earthquake from the Diglett. Yeah, feel free to chime in the comments. Let me know what's going on there. So I'll go into their own Diglett after Ponyta drop there. It's on a balloon, so it's not really too afraid of Vooper's Diglett here. So they just go for the beat up. Okay, Diglett will live that pretty well, but we have another potential speed tie. It could drop to an Earthquake. Ooh, okay. So I'm going for the Sucker Punch, as Vooper might have predicted that clicking Stealth Rock on this turn. It's going to drop to the next one, but that's okay. At least he got up rocks. Ponyard coming up for Vooper here. Important to note that unless that Volibee is running Defog, yeah, no hazard removal. I don't think Spritzy gets Defog either. In comes the Spritzy on the Ponyard. Vooper just going into Fungus here on the Wish. Following up with a Protect, just to see what this thing wants to do. Probably Spore, yep. So it might be bluffing a Ferroseed switch here. Might make the Ferroseed switch. That's what they do. Let's see what Vooper does to respond to that. Maybe HP Fire. No, goes into Mind Fu. Okay, that works too. Gets ready to knock off or a high jump kick. Goes into Spritzy because that will handle both those things quite well. Goes for the knockoff. Spritzy loses its Eviolite, making it a little bit easier to deal with. Mind Fu going to U-turn out of there. In comes the Volibee for Vooper. On another Wish turn. Gets Protect off. Gonna get that Wish, and then... Yeah, Volibee trying to U-turn, but gets protected, of course, there. Then gets the U-turn off on this turn. Fungus switching in here for Vooper. And another Wish. Okay. Ferroseed coming out here. Maybe again predicting the Spore. Nope. Right back into Mind Fu. So Vooper playing this quite well. Gets its Wish. Gonna live a high jump kick there. This thing still has its Violet, I believe. Yes. Gets up Stealth Rocks finally. On turn 22. And then gonna drop to a U-turn. Okay. So Vooper up 4 Pokemon to 3 here. In comes the Ponyard for Vooper. So Soa has the initiative of kind of knowing what they're going to go into because it was a U-turn. Going to drop to a crit Iron Head. Don't know if that mattered because that thing was Berry Juice, but oh, well, I guess the chat kind of confirms that mattered. Oh wow, an Iron Head just going to straight up drop that Abra. This is a Choice Scarf Ponyard. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. And yeah, Soa just going to forfeit here. So US West and Midwest getting the win here. 5-0 at this point, at least in terms of the order the matches were uploaded. So US West, Midwest going to the finals. I will say though, I do have one more game lined up here. There was another game played, so though we know the winner of the semifinals match already, I'm still going to go ahead with the 6th game just so you get this quality content. Let's get into game 6, even though it doesn't matter at this point. Alright, so we got Bleehay versus LB. Probably saying Bleehay wrong, but I'm going to apologize in advance here. Man, it's crazy. I saved like the most intense song for this game that doesn't matter. That's a shame. This is a Gen 9 Little Cup match here. So Scarlet and Violet, so just keep in mind there's things like Terra here. Is that a Gimmighoul? Is that how you say it? Yeah, a Gimmighoul. Okay, the first time I've seen one of these things. We'll see what that is going to do. It's a Steel type? It's a Ghost type. And it's very fast. Okay, cool. Interesting. Does it get the same ability as its evolution? No, it has Runaway. Literally the worst possible ability you could have in any competitive format. But yeah, Bleehay's team. Yeah, you got the Gimmighoul. Other than that, it's a pretty standard team from that. Pretty fat team, too. The Volibee, the Mind Fu. I could see Volibee being nasty plot, but we'll wait and see. Tinkatink, another Pokemon I really, really like in this generation. First of all, it's a great typing. Fairy Steel. Probably just objectively the best typing in Pokemon, I think. It's decently fast, but that pickpocket ability, so good, especially if it's on a balloon. Just really, really good Pokemon. You have Toadscool as well for Rapid Spin support. And amongst other things, it also does. I think it gets T-Wave. And then you have a Marini as well, another good fat Pokemon. So just an overall pretty fat team from Bleehay. A really cool custom avatar as well. I've not been praising these players on their custom avatars. LB also with a cool custom avatar as well with Melodic there. And also bringing a pretty fat team as well. Pretty standard team as well. I mean, this is a pretty good showcase of some of like the best Pokemon you see in Gen 9 World Cup. You got a Mind Fu, a Volibee, a Fungus, and a Mudbray. Just a really good defensive core there. You also have a Stunky which can hit hard with knockoffs. Could be Choice Scarfed as well. And then to potentially sweep, you have a Alolan Sandshrew, which also gets access to Swords Dance and Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin kind of as a way to set up speed boost rather than hazard removal, but hazard removal is a nice benefit of this, though on this Pokemon it's kind of used as a way to help it sweep as well. So let's get into it. So Bleehay leading Volibee. LB leading with Mudbray there. Probably looking to get up the early rocks here. Gonna take a U-turn from the Volibee. In comes the Toedscool for Bleehay. Ooh, on a Stone Edge. Take that very well. Wouldn't have minded an Earthquake either. Oh, Toedscool actually gets spikes. Okay, that's... I somehow forgot that. Switching to Tink as the Volibee came in for LB here. It's on a balloon. We're going to live a Heat Wave, so that is confirmed to be a special Volibee. Big burn as well. So Tink can be a little bit easier to deal with here. Might be looking to steal that item. Misses the next Heat Wave. Okay, Tink going for the knockoff here. Volibee gets a weak armor boost and loses it to Violite. Tink unable to steal that Violite now. Another big Heat Wave miss from LB. Very fortunate. And then going to have to lose 52% with a Draining Kiss. Tink right back up to 73% HP here. Switching to Volibee though. On a Roost turn. Pretty good play. Bleehay might be able to punch a pretty big hole in that Volibee without its Violite. In comes the Sandshrew to take a hit. Goes for the U-turn, so this is looking like it's not a special Volibee, more of a support one. Toedscool coming out for Bleehay here. Right back into Tink as the Sandshrew clicks. No, goes for the switch actually, right back into Volibee, so we're in this position again. Threatening a Heat Wave, clicks it. Tink just living that. And then just goes for Stealth Rocks as it's going to die to burn here, but Tink put in quite a bit of work in this one. Punching a hole in that Volibee, losing it to Violate and getting up rocks. In comes the Gimmighoul. Sets up a sub. What the heck is this thing going to do? Takes a knockoff. No idea what this thing's going to do. Power Gem kills. Okay. It's Life Orb as well. I have no idea what this thing is going to do. In comes the Stunky, which God thinks can be able to deal with this thing. Scaring that thing out. Luckily didn't click Pursuit. In comes the Marini on the knockoff. Loses its Violite. Right back out into Mudbray here. Marini clicks to recover. But now, fearing an Earthquake. No, Mudbray just setting up rocks. Maybe Bleehay staying in here, predicting that. Clicks the Ice Beam. Now it's got to be fearing an Earthquake, knowing that Mudbray can outspeed. So Toedscool switching in here. This thing is going to be able to... oh, wow. It has to take an close combat first. It's going to be able to outspeed, just knock out that Mudbray, but pretty low HP. I don't know if it's going to be able to rapid spin successfully, especially with the Stunky coming out here. Like Pursuit. No, clicks to the knockoff. Okay. Just lets that thing drop and keep Stealth Rocks up. Marini switching in here for Bleehay. Fungus coming out for LB. Taking oh, yeah, okay, Ice Beam. That's going to do a lot. Not going to be able to take two. Sandshrew switching in for LB. Maybe looking to get the sweep going here. Marini going for the Sludge Bomb. It's not going to take anything from that because it's immune. That's a Steel type. Just Earthquakes rather than setting up. Yeah, it might have been the right play with Mud Shot there. Marini often does run Mud Shot. Going to be able to outspeed with that drop and knock it out with the next one. Marini is low though. Mindfu making its debut here for LB. Don't think we've seen Mindfu yet. Goes for the high jump kick just in case they want to switch. Nothing wrong with that play. Except, I mean, the Gimmighoul could have been coming out there. I'll be switching into Stunky here. See what this Gimmighoul wants to do. They go Terra Ghost just to boost up those Ghost moves. Shadow Ball's not going to be able to get the KO, though. Stunky threatening potential speed tie here. Mindfu switching in for Bleehay, not wanting to mess around with that. Take the next knockoff. I think the Stunky might be Choice Scarf just from how they're playing it too. Terra Ghost here, maybe on the high jump kick or on the fake out. That works. They'll be able to follow up with a Gunk Shot. Get that thing low, no poison, and lives. Oh, I guess that confirms that no, it's not Choice Scarf as they're able to switch moves here. Volibee switching in for Bleehay here. Gets the kill with the Brave Bird. Gonna take some aftermath damage too. Volibee looking pretty good here. Gonna be able to take a hit from the Mindfu. I don't know if it's gonna, especially if it has... Well, fake out, they get the weak armor boost, right? Okay, so there's the fake out. I don't know what kind of Mindfu this is, but if this one was running max speed, I maybe just would have high jump kick there. I know the Gimmighoul could have came in there. Fungus taking in all those hazards. Volibee just going for the Brave Bird. Maybe they just wanted some regen on that Mindfu, which is Back to full HP. Gonna take hazards again, but I'll get another fake out off, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and then here's that Gimme Ghoul, which is slower than Mindfu. Most likely. No, it's not. Okay. Oh, it's 18. I thought it was 16. My bad. But it's gonna drop to a knockoff anyway, so that one really came down to the wire. The LB getting the victory in this game that didn't matter, but at least the UK didn't get swept. They do get one win here on the back of LB in this Gen 9 Little Cup match. So really fun one at the end there. I'm glad I covered that, even though again this one didn't matter. But that was a good match, honestly. I'm really glad I was able to cover the finals. I'm not going to say, or the semifinals rather. Going to cover the finals next week. I'm not going to say who won the other semifinals match. That's on the YouTube page if you want to go check that out. And again, this is McFlurry. Be sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And stay tuned for more LCWC action, as we'll be covering the finals next week. And I've got lots of other Pokemon content lined up for the YouTube channel here. Some more Little Cup action as well, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, take care. Peace.